immerse yourself into the world of Creepy Man. He's waiting for you.
Hello everyone, I'm Emily, and I've always been drawn to the unexplained, the shadows that linger just beyond our understanding, the whispers of stories that haunt our past. Today, I want to share a chilling tale that has been etched into my mind ever since I heard it from one of my closest friends, Ryan. It's a story about fear, the unknown, and the lingering presence of something that shouldn't exist in our world. So, gather around as I take you through the story of a trip gone wrong, of 8 friends, a mysterious figure, and a night filled with terror that would change their lives forever. A group of 8 co-workers, including Ryan, went on a trip to a hill station over a long weekend. They came back as different people, silent, withdrawn, and constantly looking over their shoulders like something was watching them. They don't talk about it much, and whenever they do, their eyes grow distant, as if they're reliving the nightmare. Here's what I pieced together from what Ryan could remember. It was supposed to be a fun trip. 8 of them, Ryan, Nick, Sarah, Adam, Mia, Kevin, Anna, and David, decided to take 2 cars and drive up to a secluded hill station. They'd booked a few rooms in a wooden resort nestled deep in the forest. The plan was simple. Relax, catch the sunrise at a viewpoint, and trek to a nearby waterfall. They reached the resort late at night. The place was eerily quiet, with only the sounds of the forest breaking the silence. They were all tired from the drive, so they went to sleep early, eager to start the next day fresh. But that night, something strange happened. Ryan told me that David, one of the quieter ones in the group, stepped out around 2 a.m. for a smoke. While everyone else was fast asleep, David stood by the trees at the edge of the resort's grounds. That's when he saw it. A ghostly figure standing between the trees, its shape barely visible, but distinctly human. He didn't describe much about its appearance, only that its presence filled him with dread. He rushed back into his room, locking the door behind him. He didn't tell anyone what he saw, probably thinking it was his imagination. The next morning, they all woke up and went to catch the sunrise. Ryan said it was a beautiful sight, but David was acting strange, jumpy, constantly looking around like he was expecting something to happen. He brushed it off when they asked him, and they continued with their plans to trek to the waterfall. When they reached the waterfall, they were in awe. The water was crystal clear, the surrounding forest lush and serene. They spent hours there, taking photos, splashing in them and just relaxing. But David couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. At one point, while they were all in the water, he screamed, pointing toward the forest. Ryan said David saw the same ghostly figure again, this time standing just at the edge of the trees, watching them. The others rushed over, but by the time they got there, the figure had vanished. Everyone tried to calm him down, but David was terrified. They spent the rest of the day trying to enjoy themselves, but the mood had shifted. Ryan said he felt a strange unease settle over the group, though no one could explain why. They decided to head back to the resort in the evening, but something even stranger happened. After driving for about an hour, one of the cars noticed that David was missing. He was supposed to be in the back seat, but he wasn't there. Panic set in. They turned the car around and drove back toward the waterfall, thinking he must have gotten out without them noticing. By the time they found him walking along the road, it was already getting dark. David looked dazed, like he didn't know how he'd gotten out of the car. They picked him up and started driving again, but now they were running late. They stopped at a small shop along the roadside to ask for help finding accommodation for the night. The shopkeeper took one look at them and warned them to leave the area immediately. He said strange things happened around there at night, especially near the woods, but they didn't have much choice. There was nowhere else to go, so they pitched tents nearby, deciding to camp out until morning. While sitting together in their tent, they went through the photos they had taken that day. That's when they saw it. In one of the pictures by the waterfall, there was a shadowy figure standing behind them, clear as day. Ryan said everyone froze when they saw it. The figure wasn't part of the group. It was the same thing David had seen. As the group huddles together in their tent, the lantern inside begins to flicker. Kevin notices a shadow on the tent wall that doesn't belong to any of them. It grows larger, taking the shape of a long, spindly figure with clawed hands. When Kevin shines his flashlight towards it, the shadow moves away, but the tent fabric bulges inward as though something is pressing against it, scratching faintly. Before they could react, a loud scream echoed through the forest. It was like nothing they had ever heard before. Inhuman, bone-chilling. The sound surrounded them, coming from all directions. They packed up in a frenzy, but just as they were about to leave, one of the cars had a flat tire. There was no way they were staying any longer, so all 8 of them crammed into one car and sped off into the night. As they drove, the screams seemed to follow them, getting louder and more frantic. At one point, they all saw it, the ghostly figure standing on the side of the road staring at them as they passed. No one said a word. They just kept driving, faster and faster. The road begins to shift. The headlights illuminate endless loops of the same stretch of forest, as if they're driving in circles. Ryan notices that even though they're speeding, the odometer remains stuck. Suddenly, the ghostly figure appears in the middle of the road, forcing them to swerve. When they stop, they realize they're back at the campsite they fled from, despite never turning around. They finally saw a police patrol van up ahead and pulled over, desperate for help. They told the officers what had happened, and to their surprise, the police didn't seem shocked. They said others had reported similar sightings in the area. The police escorted them to the nearest station, but by then, all their phones were dead. They couldn't even call their families to let them they were safe. At the police station, something else happened. Ryan notices his reflection in the station's large window, but instead of his own image, he sees a ghostly figure staring back at him from his reflection. As he gasps and alerts the others, the reflection vanishes, leaving everyone on edge. Seconds later, the glass shatters inexplicably, cutting off the power in the station. Ryan said the last thing he recalled was seeing the ghostly figure again, standing outside the station window, just staring at them. After that, it was a blur. They don't know what happened next, but whatever it was, it left a permanent mark on all of them. A week later, they all returned to work, but they were different. Ryan won't talk about it anymore, and neither will the others. It's like they're haunted by something they can't explain, constantly on edge, eyes darting to empty corners, afraid of something only they can see. Whatever happened on that trip, it changed them. And I don't think they'll ever be the same again. And there you have it. A journey into the unknown that forever changed the lives of 8 friends. It serves as a reminder that sometimes the scariest stories are the ones we live ourselves. Have you ever had a similar experience? A moment when the unexplainable crossed your path. I invite you to share your stories with us, whether they're your own or tales you've heard from others. We'd love to hear them. You can send them in, and who knows, your story might be the next one we feature. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your support keeps us going, allowing us to bring you more stories that thrill and chill. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, stay curious and remember, sometimes the things that go bump in the night might just be waiting for their chance to share their story.